Welcome everyone, another great video. We're talking about how much money you need to save to ensure you're on track for your retirement, for your financial goals. Some folks, they look to their neighbor, they look at what the average is in Canada. We're gonna look at a different method to get you some benchmarks, to get you some guideposts, and we'll jump right in here, Kevin. I'm gonna pull this first one up. This one is from the National Bank of Canada. They looked at a couple of details. Why don't you walk us through this?
Yeah, I mean, basically what they're doing is trying to figure out, based on someone who starts saving 18% of their salary at the age of 13 and has a balanced portfolio, you're planning on retiring at 65, what multiple of income do you need? So, I mean, we can see it at 35, you need 1 times that multiple. As that number goes up, though, you're going to have to increase. So if you're making 20,000 at 35, maybe at 40 or 45, you're making 40,000. Now you're going to need a little bit more in there. That number, as we're seeing at 40, is 2.1. As you get closer, it's 8.5. By the time you retire, you should have 11.3 times what that multiple of income is in liquid. Now we're talking liquid assets to be able to deal with.
Yeah, so we're talking about savings. So if the value of my house is worth a certain amount, well, that's not really what they're getting at here. They're saying money you got set aside for retirement, that amount, that pot, how size, what big size does that pot have to be? Well, it depends. And this is what they're giving you as a guidepost. It says, well, the larger your income, well, the more you're going to have to set aside. The older you are, the more you should have set aside. And they're giving you some multiples of income. So if I'm 50 and I have 100 grand, they're saying I need $460,000 of savings or retirement savings in order to meet that metric. And again, they're giving you some guidelines, what assumptions they made here. They're assuming you start at the age of 30, you put 18% away per year. We'll look at a different item here, Kevin. This one, same concept, but this is from Fidelity. And they have different multiples, but they have different metrics as well. The idea here is to give you a few guideposts. You can see they use a few different assumptions when determining their numbers.
Yeah, and again, I mean, we're basing it on just a scenario where you're dealing with age and multiples that you need. So for this one, we're looking at 25, 15% of annual salary, but they do have some stipulations there. They want 50% of the savings in stock. And again, rationale for that is more of a growth portfolio, more of a long-term time frame thing. And you're retiring at age 67 here, but going forward, you want to maintain that pre-retirement income. Now, that could be continued for the length of your retirement or whatever. So again, those multiples come in. As Clint said, if you're at 50 and you're in 100 grand, according to this model, we're at 6 times. So you're looking at 600,000 that you would need in that sort of a format to be able to maintain that lifestyle when you hit that retirement thing. So again, we're dealing with similar concepts. They're looking at what your multiples are of the income that you need in your liquid savings to be able to deal with it, and how that's going to prescribe to what you're going to deal with in retirement and how that's going to play.
Absolutely. And we go through questions like this all the time. How much do I need to set aside? What should I be worried about when it comes to my financial plan? Happy to answer any questions you might have on this topic or really any others. So you can visit us, chatwithclintonkevin.com, on the bottom of the screen there. Part of our website, you fill in the form, comes right to us. We always appreciate the questions. We're always happy to get back to you. So please visit chatwithclintonkevin.com. We'll go through one more here, Kevin. Another formula you could use to help give yourself a quick answer, just a quick benchmark. Am I on track? Am I not on track? We covered 2, one from NBC, one from Fidelity. This third one here from a book, The Millionaire Next Door. You can see the authors there on the bottom of the screen, Thomas J. Stanley and William D. Danko, both PhDs. And what they came up with, Kevin, was a net worth indicator. So this is a little different. This is not how much money should I have set aside for investments and for retirement specifically. This is just kind of saying general net worth. How much should I have depending on income and age?
Yeah, so again, you're dealing with a different metric here, right? Beforehand, we're looking at just your liquid savings, what you're going to need to spend. Here, what they want to take a look at is what's your net worth. So that'll include your liquid plus any of your fixed assets, your house, you got a cottage, your things along those lines. And their basic formula states that if you take your age and your pre-tax annual household income, not just yours, but your household income, and divide that by 10, that should give you a good metric as to where you're going to be. And that's a scenario to look at. So if we look at an example on this, say you're looking at a 50-year-old, the household income between, say, the couple is $250,000. If you divide that by 10, theoretically at that age, you should have $1.25 million in net worth. So that's your liquid assets plus your fixed assets. That's where you should be. Now, this is just, again, a basis as to where you should be if you want to live the retirement that you're looking for. And again, these are just the calculated numbers that, there could be some differences made depending on what you've got in there.
Yeah, net worth, we should mention, usually it's your assets, fixed and liquid, as Kevin mentioned, minus your liabilities. So if you have a mortgage on the house, you can't just include the value of the house and not talk about the mortgage. You'd have to subtract the mortgage, to get that net value. And that's really what they're looking at with the net worth indicator, is where you would be based on your income, based on your age. They're giving you some benchmarks, right? We had a couple of them specific for retirement, this one more towards a larger net worth. But really what we're driving at here with all these comparisons and benchmarks, the best comparison, Kevin, is your own plan.
That's exactly
our motto here is you make a financial plan specific to your goals. Maybe you want to be low risk and retire at 60, but you want all your investments in GICs. That's perfectly fine. But then these assumptions and these benchmarks might not be applicable in your case. Regardless, you have a plan. That plan should include a forecast, and then you could benchmark to that. It says, well, the plan said I was supposed to earn 5% a year, and by 60, I was going to be at this level. You now can tell whether or not you're on that track or whether you're a little ahead or a little behind, if adjustments need to be made, but it's very specific to your plan as opposed to a generic benchmark or what the average Canadian has or any type of other comparison. I imagine you're on the same page.
I am. And again, you don't have to compare yourself next door to the neighbor. The neighbor may be different than you or your friend down the street, whatever the case may be. The Becker Orr mantra of having a plan, it's all based on you as an individual. That's where you want to make your comparison. But we do just want to give you these sort of trinkets to say, here's something that you can look at if you want to make an assumption as to what maybe your plan would have to incorporate if you don't have one.
Yeah, good plans take time. These could be done in like 5 seconds. So it's a little easier for a quick comparison, but a proper one would include your plan. We got lots of videos on this type of topic, including one floating on the screen now looking at the average Canadian retirement income. Click on that guy. We'll see you again very soon.